Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are talking about the Los Angeles Chargers in today's video. Probably the most complete team in the entire National Football League. They really look phenomenal, and they're 3-0, and they've taken down the Kansas City Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Denver Broncos now, thanks to a 23-20 win on Sunday, which means they just beat everybody in the division. And first off, crazy that they were given 3 divisional games to start off the season. But anyways, one of the reasons I wanted to make this video is, first off, I need to talk more Chargers. But I was watching a talk show today, and they were doing like a bubble, and they were doing Super Bowl contenders, and it was a team of like 5 or 6, and the Chargers were on that list. And then there were outside bubble, like, you know, the Lions, the Bucks, whatever. And the other guys started talking about the Denver Broncos, and why aren't they on this list? And the host of the sports show was like, the Broncos suck. The Broncos pass rush isn't getting home. You know, I don't trust this defense. I don't trust these pass rushers. They don't look good. You know, Bo Nix, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting here, and I was prepping a Chargers video, and I was like, hold on. The Broncos defense was insane on Sunday. They sacked Justin Herbert 5 times. They hit him 14 total times. They pressured him 54.7% of the time on his dropbacks, and that was the highest pressure rate that Justin Herbert has faced in his entire NFL career. And what was so interesting is that game, like, long as the season goes on, it has huge implications. You know, the Denver Broncos, a playoff team, you get this win, you're 3 games into the season, now you're playing the New York Giants, starting a rookie quarterback. I just think this divisional lead is so important because it's crazy. You know, once we get towards the end of the season, people start to care about this stuff, but it really gets built early on in the year. So the fact that Los Angeles is 3-0, it's not necessarily a surprise when you look at the talent on this roster, but it is a surprise when you go back, go to Brazil, beat Kansas City, and then that win against a great Broncos defense. So folks, anyways, we've been rambling long enough. We're going to talk a lot about this offense, a little bit of the defense in this video. As always, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I do apologize, we haven't made a Chargers video since like the week 1 win against Kansas City Chiefs, so definitely need to step that up. One thing I noticed right away with this Chargers team, whether it was game 1, game 2, or game 3, is Keenan Allen. And I think Keenan Allen was the one who said after the game on Sunday that this year feels different. This Chargers team feels different. And a really big reason is him. You know, Quentin Johnston, 6 catches, 89 yards on Sunday against Denver. Ladd McConkey doing his thing. But Keenan Allen's been a game changer. He had 7 catches, 65 yards, and the huge touchdown in that football game. But all in all, he has a team-high 19 catches. He's tied for the team lead with 3 touchdowns. He's got almost 200 receiving yards, and he's on pace for 100 catches, 1,100 yards, and 17 touchdowns. And I think he really just changes everything with this offense. You know, Ladd McConkey is good. Quentin Johnston breaking out is incredible. It's exactly what you want to see. You also got, you know, guys like Trey Harris in your back pocket. Gadsden, we made a lot of Chargers videos in the offseason, and Arande is one of those players out of Syracuse where I don't think people, like, this sounds so, like, annoying because I'm just sitting here in my apartment making this video on my computer, but the way scouts, like, project and predict and just rank and scout tight ends, it's always really baffled me because Arande in college at Syracuse was a really good player, and he had 5 catches, 46 yards on Sunday against Denver. We heard, you know, Harbaugh come out here and say he's going to be seeing more playing time. I know the run blocking with him isn't the best, but in general, this offensive line, they're going through injuries right now, and we'll talk about that in just 1 second. You know, the most important part is Justin Herbert actually looks like the MVP. I don't know if there's like an MVP front runner right now. I can't think of any players off the top of my head that would, you know, get my personal vote over Justin Herbert. I know it's 3 games, but he just threw for 300 yards. He had a touchdown, you know, dumb interception, but he really came alive specifically in that 4th quarter. And the Chargers were trailing heading into the 4th quarter. And he went 12 of 15 for 123 yards and a touchdown in the final 15 minutes. He also posted a 90.2 PFF grade in the 4th quarter and he led the Chargers to 9 first downs. That's the number the Broncos offense had in the entire football game. And like we mentioned, they sacked Herbert 5 times. They hit him 14 times. I know the center's banged up. I know Becton's banged up right now, and that's not ideal. And obviously Slater is done for the season. But still, it's a long year. I don't really think Jim Harbaugh, or I should say, I have full faith and confidence that Jim Harbaugh and this Chargers coaching staff is going to make sure that offensive line continues to improve and get better. And we'll talk about Omarion Hampton in 1 second, but I do want to give the game ball to Derwin James because he was insane. He had 12 tackles. That was more than double than any other Charger player. He also had 4 tackles for loss. He had one of the team's 2 sacks. I mean, he was electric that whole football game, and especially in that fourth quarter, he was just making play after play. Khalil Mack currently on IR. He's going to be back in a couple of weeks. This defense looks really good, and they're going to continue to put their offense in a position to win these football games. Now, the one unfortunate aspect outside of the offensive line injuries is definitely Najee Harris done for the season. And I've seen a lot of articles and a lot of speculation on what are the Chargers going to do. Are they going to bring up Vildor from the practice squad? Are they going to, rip it with Hassan? They still need another running back, so we'll wait and see what happens as far as that goes. But obviously, Omarion Hampton, just had the best game of his young rookie career. He had 129 yards from scrimmage, 25 total touches, 70 of those were rushing, and then 59 of those were receiving. And here's what you really noticed in the fourth quarter and the second half in general. That Broncos defense, they were getting pressure on Herbert. And so in the second half, Herbert used Hampton as the go-to guy. And it really beat the rush. He caught all 6 catches for 59 yards. He had a huge 22-yarder on the touchdown from Keenan Allen. Now, the statistics, the deep dive statistics, it hasn't been anything too crazy. But once again, this offensive line is kind of struggling a little bit. It's been a little bit shaky, whether it's pass pro or run pro. The Chargers currently ranked 24th in yards before contact. And once again, just keep in mind, this offensive line's banged up. Obviously, we all know Rashawn Slater done with a season-ending knee injury from training camp. Right guard Mekhi Becton, struggled. He had an illness in game 1 against Brazil. He left Sunday with a concussion. I don't think him or Bradley Bozeman practiced today. But anyways, the point still stands. This team they're loaded. I've always hated the rapport Herbert gets in the playoffs because I think it's very lazy. And you look at the next couple of games, you got the Giants, the Commanders, the Dolphins, the Colts. Then you go to play Minnesota, Tennessee. It's looking really good. They're 3-0, but more importantly, they're 3-0 in the division. And this Chargers team, they look like the most complete team in the National Football League right now. So, folks, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't already. Let me know any thoughts you have with the Chargers down below, and we'll see you soon. Peace.